All right.
So this is the shelf of LPs of that came from my record company, Artist House, that existed between 1979 and 1985. I think it was. I was recording stuff before 79, but basically I worked for Creed Taylor from 73 to 75 and CTI from 75 to 77. When I started my company in 77. So then from 77 to 85, I did 15 records. And I tried to kind of overproduce them in a sense. But the ones I did for A&M, for example, this is the Thad Jones Mel Lewis record, and what I would do is go crazy. And so I ended up doing this for Artist House too, but I put it in a booklet. So I'd have transcriptions of music or the scores or sometimes solos. These are notes by all the about every player in a big band, pictures of the session, and then notes from Mel and Thad. And then I would do things like a mix diagram to show people where everything was on the spectrum. I don't know why I did that. I just thought it was fascinating. And then a score, I call it a graphic score, when everything was playing, so you could identify. I was thinking of educational use, so kids could listen to it and know what was going on by looking at it and all the players. So this packaging got a lot of attention, both positive and negative. But that's the kind of thing I'm into. But these are, so there's a box of each. The last record I did was this Gil Evans record. And by that time I was broke, so I didn't have, it was just a record. And, but, like when I did this, it's open. Oh, this is not open, but, so Chet, or Pepper, Blue Shrink Wrap, Best Vinyl, you know, and then it's an 8-page booklet, and I'll show you, that told everything, what discographies, solos, transcript solos, all kinds of stuff. So this is the last of my inventory from Artist House. This is all that's left. Most of these records I don't own the rights to because I would license them from the artist. I was an idealist. I didn't believe in owning the artist's work. These are CTI records, I'm sorry, A&M records, the Horizon label that I did. And the same kind of thing. That kind of exhaustive in its presentation. Maybe I booked it in here. No, that record's too big. There's only a few of those left. This is all the Horizon stuff. This is all Artist House. There's probably, this is a box of 50. So these boxes here are 35, 25 or 30. So there's probably 500 LPs here. These are the 7-inch reels of just multiple stuff. A lot of gaps because I'm starting to digitize. So I probably have at least this many again in 7-inch reels. Frank Rosalino stuff from Canada, I think eventually came out. Joe Farrell stuff, just stuff that I recorded back in the middle 70s when he was playing at clubs. Sonny Fortune, I did a record with Sonny, so there's stuff there. So a lot of this came out on records, but this is like session tapes or, just odd things. There's a lot of strange things in there. All this Miles Davis stuff is just, stuff that I would put together, compilations that I would record. All this, these are actually Thad Jones, Mel Lewis. These are records that came out, but they're just 7-inch studio copies. They probably sound pretty good. I have a band, 11th Hour, and there's a lot of tapes of that, and a lot of those have been. I hope nobody ever listens to that, although the players are really good except for me, but everybody else is great. So this area here, getting into session notebooks. Now they're numbered, but they were numbered randomly. And so now what they've reorganized them in terms of alphabet. So there were numbers for about the time I was working on them, and so this was that time. So the number one or number whatever the first few were, of a date of a time, and then these later ones were, years later. But now they're organized alphabetically. So this is A. So the record company, I used to try to build Alvin Ailey stuff that I did, and then so every artist that I worked with, after a certain period, I had a notebook, and so it goes through a lot of Dave Brubeck. What else? Gatemouth Brown, did a lot of records with him, so there's a lot of stuff with Gate. All this is Gate. I did a Dylan tribute, and that's a lot of stuff in that, a lot of artists on that. So the big project notebooks, but a lot of Johnny Copeland stuff, James Cotton, Bob Desmond. Here's an Eric Clapton tribute. I recorded Eric on some of the Gatemouth stuff, and there's some things around that he signed. He was very generous about stuff. Don Cherry. So there's a lot of things. Jim Hall, Johnny Griffin, Dizzy Gillespie, Larry Garner, great jazz artist. J.J. Johnson, we did a record with him that's pretty good. Did one record with Nina Freelon. Tom Harrell, McCoy Tyner. Not sure why that's doing down there. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Okay, I am. So that's Tom Harrell. These are H's. Nancy Harrell, did a lot of records with her. Jimi Hendrix tribute was good. What is on this? Christopher Holiday, Memphis Horns, Dixie Hummingbirds was a big record. And then Noah Dixie Hummingbirds, there was only one record, but it was a lot of people on it. Mahalia Jackson tribute with, what's her name, Mavis and Lucky Peterson. Etta James did a lot of stuff with Etta, so this is all Etta. Etta goes up to, starts here and goes to here. Lots of Etta stuff, because I did lots of records with her. Robert Johnson tribute was pretty amazing. He still owed me money on that. And then Robert Jr. Lockwood, quite the guy. Who else here? Cody Moffitt, Kami Lyle was great. The record never came out. But Larry Garner, Frank Morgan did a lot of records with Frank. Jerry Mulligan did a lot of records with Jerry. And this is all Jerry. Maria Moldauer. I got taken off that record because we didn't get along too well. And she tricked me. O'Teal is good. Paris All Stars was a record we did in Paris with all the bebop stars, and that won a Grammy nomination, I think. Lucky Peterson, I did a lot of records with Lucky. More Lucky. Lou Reed reissues. Talked to Lou, worked on his reissue with him. He was a very nice guy, very professional. Made me nervous. Wallace Roney, great trumpet player. Hilton Ruiz, great piano player. John Siri, played some records. George Shearing, did a lot of records with George. Bobby Short, I did a bunch of records with Bobby. He was great. So this is Bobby Short. Then there's more Rolling Stones tribute. Major Staples, more Bobby Short, Cody Moffitt, more Shearing. These things are a little bit out of order, I guess. Lots of Shearing. More Rolling Stones tribute. These two things need to be together. Melvin Taylor, did a lot of records with Melvin. Cecil Taylor, I did several records with Cecil. Derek Trucks, did 3 or 4 of his first few records, and great artist. Lots of Telarc stuff. Telarc, there's a record company I worked for that I did a lot of the Shearing stuff for, Brubeck, and prepared a lot of documents that kind of corporates had to, have stuff. I have to check on these for contracts because they never did. When they sold, when record companies get sold, you don't get paid. Muddy Waters tribute was good. Junior won a Grammy nomination. Did a lot of records with Junior. He actually won a Grammy. One of the records we did. A&M Press, so this is all press from the 70s. Joe Williams, wow, great artist. Junior Wells did a Led Zeppelin tribute, a lot of artists. And then I did a series of jazz master classes on DVD, and those are the project notebooks for those. So you got Cecil, Kenny Werner, Phil Woods, Hank Jones, Clark Terry, Toots Stillman, Benny Golson, Heath Brothers, Barry Harris, Gatemouth. So these are all different notebooks for different projects, different compilations, kind of miscellaneous stuff. We're going to count all these. There's more in the other room, so we'll have a total. You can see the wall of plastic shoe boxes, and there's one for. I used to keep all the outtakes, the cassettes, the song tapes, the session stuff, and when they started making CDs for session stuff, I put those in there. It's just related materials for the record. So if you start over here, you got there's a lot of these are all the A stuff. So Susie Arioli, an excellent singer from Canada. Randall Atchison was a piano player that was trying to do a particular thing with that RCA wanted me to do. I think a great player. These are all auditioner tapes. These are just the B's. I don't know what's in there. This is a bunch of B's. More bassy, Christina Beatty, who was a great young singer, who's got a career under another name now. Louis Bellson did a couple of records with him. Kenny Drew Jr., a couple of records. Art Blakey did his last record. Billy Branch, the excellent blues harmonica player of Chicago. Brookmeyer was a good friend of mine. Did a lot of Brookmeyer stuff. Gatemouth, did a lot of records with him. So this is number 2, so it's the second record. There's the third record. I did records with Charles Brown, another amazing artist. And then this is not a place, this is master class. That's Gatemouth though. So I think Keith Brown, a blues player I've never gotten anywhere with. Brubeck, lots of Brubeck stuff. I did 2 or 3 records with Jeannie Bryson, deeply loved. BMG would always send me music, so these are just song tapes for certain artists. Brenda Burns, a very talented singer. O'Teal, the C's, I'm not sure what's in the C's, but you can see. Carl Carlton was an artist from Germany. I produced and videotaped his record, so there's a lot of tape there. It was kind of early on for that, but I videotaped the whole record. Joseph Campbell, the great teacher and the Myth to Live By. He wrote all those books about Hero with a Thousand Faces and stuff. He used to give lectures in New York, and so I would take them. I would go, pay the money, and take them, and I just loved him. Eric Clapton tribute, I mentioned earlier. John Cleary, a great artist. I didn't do much with him, but a few things. James Clay I loved so dearly. I did 1 record with him. Ornette Coleman I was with for 5 or 6 years. So there's 3 boxes of Ornette stuff, 2 more, and I've got another 2 or 3 another place, and I'm digitizing. I've got a lot of Ornette, and probably 50 hours of him just talking. James Cotton, Johnny Copeland, James Cotton again, Miles Davis, reissues. I didn't know him, just worked on his records. Knew Tia pretty well, and of course Ron Carter, Herbie Hancock, and those guys, and Tony Williams. I recorded all those guys, but never recorded Miles. Paul Desmond was a good friend. I did a lot of records with him. There's 3, 6, there's 7 boxes of Paul Desmond stuff. And I also have all of his tapes that he left in his will. There are a lot of 5-inch reels, probably 6 boxes of stuff of that, with maybe 20 tapes in each box. These are just people that had, just bigger projects. The Scrap-O-Matic record I did, Bobby Short, Mulligan, a DVD I worked on. Nancy Harrow, I did a lot of records with her. Jason Crosby did his first record, and a lot of video stuff. Connie Lau, another likes of her stuff. O'Teal. So Dylan. This goes on for a while, but Dylan tribute, Gil Evans stuff, E's and F's, don't know what that is. Aretha Franklin did a couple reissues of hers. I got to hear everything she ever recorded, every outtake, every single thing she did at Columbia. And there was some terrible stuff in there, but also some good stuff. So a lot of stuff related to that. Larry Garner is a blues artist I really loved, still love. I don't see him much anymore, but he's a very talented songwriter. Dizzy, these are Benny Golson. That's all mini DVs, so that's a video project. There's Johnny Griffin. You know, there's Jim Hall. It's probably 10 boxes of Jim Hall stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8. And Slide Hampton, Tom Harrell, Nancy Harrow again. She seems to be all over the place. Hendrix tribute, Memphis Horns. That was a great record. I did a record with Freddie and JJ, Slide Hampton, Milt Jackson. So that's just stuff in there about them. Dixie Hummingbirds was a big project. Stevie Wonder, Mavis, Winona, a lot of people, Bobby Womack, a lot of people on that record. There's Your Eyes, Your Jade.
Hold on for just one.
I did a lot of records with Illinois, well, a couple. I loved Illinois, and got to know him pretty well. I wish I'd spent more time with him. I went to his house a few times, but I really enjoyed him. He had great stories. Ahmad Jamal did a couple of records with him, a bit more difficult, but great player. Etta James, like I did a lot of Etta stuff. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes of that. Victor Jazz compilations, blues and jazz, the Jefferson Airplane stuff I worked on as reissues. I'm not sure what Spoken Friends means, but just probably interviews I did with people. Two things of that. So we're in the Jays, you know, Robert Johnson tribute, Big Daddy Kinsey, Chris Thomas King, Mel Lewis, a lot of legacy projects from Columbia, or Mel Lewis, David Liebman, Phil Woods, Warren Bachet. I did a DVD with him, lots of stuff about that. A lot of tapes having to do with my friend Lynn, with all those file drawers. It kind of goes with those file drawers in the other room. They have a lot of Lynn stuff, and he would record things, or you know. Connie Lau, that artist recorded that never came out. She was good. Here's some M's. Larry McCrae, Jimmy McGriff, Hank Crawford did 3 or 4 records, maybe 3 records for them. Shannon McNally just did 1 record date. She was on somebody else's record. When I got to know her, I really liked her. I still do. Frank Morgan did 3 records. You know, Maria Mulligan record, Mulligan, O's, P's, Art Pepper. Did a lot of stuff with Art. You know, yeah. Lucky Peterson did a lot of stuff with Lucky. Ralph Peterson, drummer. Plantot Perkins did I'll let Jay produce that one. Jay produced that one. But I also did a record with him, a couple records with him on it. So I have stuff related to that. Doug Ramsey, great critic, would send me tapes and stuff. But these are all extremely valuable because he's like did the first playlist guy. And he was making playlists on cassettes in the 70s that was just incredible. Dewey Redman, Rolling Stone tribute, S's, Sarah's my daughter, has got all of her stuff. She's quite an artist. Steve Lacy, Hilton Perez, Nilo Perez did his first record. Ralph Peterson, David Sanchez, Bobby Scott, oh my goodness, what a guy. And Scrap-O-Matic, Scrap-O-Matic was the duo I thought was going to, they've done well in their own ways. Don Sebesky record, John Siri, Shearing. I did a lot of stuff with Shearing and Bobby Short. You can see Bobby Short is there's 4 boxes of Bobby Short stuff. A couple of Shearing. Songwriters would send me stuff, so I have a lot of songwriters tapes from the 80s and 90s, aughts. Songwriters, songs, spoken word stuff. Mavis Staples, Ira Sullivan, tracked him down. Cecil Taylor, the Tease stuff. Mel Torme, Susan Tedeschi, Derek Trucks, a lot of stuff with Derek. Did 3 records, I guess, with Derek. Joe Louis Walker, the great blues artist.
Did you produce the first Susan Tedeschi record?
No.
Oh, okay.
I produced one that never came out, actually.
Oh, bummer.
First record I ever lost.
Oh.
Carl Weathersby, an excellent blues player from Chicago, and did several records with him. Or Junior Wells, Bonnie Womack. We did a couple of sessions with him for different records. Did a Zeppelin tribute. That's a lot of stuff that's related to that. And all this is about video interviews from our Artist House website. There's probably 3,000. Well, I don't even know. I mean, there are 2,800 videos on YouTube, but these are all the full interviews. So there's a lot of stuff. There's hundreds of people in here, usually industry professionals. And then all this stuff was put on hard drives. I probably have at least 50 hard drives, maybe more, full, but mostly interview stuff. These are all tapes related to that. This is all inventory, and my great dartboard. See, I have these 4 darts. But this is inventory of DVDs. These are Jazz Master classes. I also have a box of slides that I took when I was on tour in different places with my band or jazz groups that I was touring with. I don't know what's in there. All this is inventory, DVD inventory about those Jazz Master classes. This is all still inventory over here. I guess we could go around to the other side.
Yeah. I just want to get a couple of these.
So all this stuff here is stuff I've digitized. We're looking at the back shelf. So I've been, over the last couple of years, digitizing VHS tapes, 7-inch reel-to-reel tapes, high 8 tapes. I got a lot of high 8 tapes of some of those sessions that, like all those tributes. I got Bo Diddley, I got Taj, I got a lot of people. Otis Rush, Otis Clay, Junior, James, a lot of people. Let's go on this
Yeah.
one.
Go ahead.
Well, we can start over here if you want. These are all old media machines. So there's a slide projector and a 35 millimeter projector from the 50s. Then there's cassettes. These are just mostly stuff I recorded and made off the records. These are all VHS tapes. And there's a lot of, there's some original things in there, but most of that is just things that I required that were someone else produced. Now this is all like a festival in Poland, and I was going to do something with that for BMG, and they dropped the project, but I got the tapes. So there's a lot of jazz artists in there. It's a kind of a festival. This is, like I said before, this is the stuff I've digitized. So a lot of my band, this is not my band, this is Charlie Hayden, a lot of Paul Mitchell that I've recorded them for a week or so. And then all these VHSs, just different things. I would record put one on the TV. It's always had one in, and so when some musical thing would come on, I'd tape it. So it's just a lot of random musical performances from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and documentaries and stuff like that. Lots of these are all the negatives for the photographs of sessions. So there's a lot of record date photographs in there. These are more of the VHS stuff. Some of it is just things that I would record. Like here is George Bolet playing Rachmaninoff, Andre Watts, Lincoln Center, 220/85. Tony Bennett, Little Richard, Elvis. Just random stuff. I don't know why I did that, but obviously you can see I have a problem. So down below, this is all inventory. So again, this is all DVD masterclass. Cecil Taylor, Clark Terry. I sell a box of these every 6 months or so to a distributor, but DVD is basically a dead medium, so I'm not sure, this is kind of has to go at some point. So over here, these are all this inventory on my left, but this is the Paul Desmond tapes, and this is all stuff like these 5-inch reels, but they're in boxes. This is film. I don't know what the hell that is. This is Ornette. Wow. I wonder what that is. That's incredible. This is Desmond. This is just inventory of CDs that I've done in the past. Most all of this is just all, 3 or 4 copies of stuff like that. This is all stuff that I produced. So all these are 10-inch, analog tapes that are 1/4-inch, 10-inch diameter, 1/4-inch wide. These are digital tapes. This is all Bob Brookmeyer stuff. Did a record with him and Kenny Warner. We filmed everything. Oh, this is the record. The record came out, and we also filmed it, so it's a DVD as well. Lots of Chet Baker. Most of it has seen the light of day. Some of it hasn't. I don't own any rights to it, so I just own the tapes, and that's how the tapes. I recorded Dave Brubeck's last quartet tour in the 70s, like 77 or 76, with Desmond, Morello, Eugene Wright, and David. And so that was their last tour before Morello's retina detached, and then everything fell apart after that. So that's the last Brubeck quartet, famous Take Nine quartet. More Brubeck, Don Cherry. This all came out, I think. These are digital tapes of James Clay's record, so all the outtakes are there. I have for some reason I have multi-track tapes of that. I don't think it's the original stuff though. A lot of Ornette. Ornette at Lincoln Center never came out. Double quartet, incredible music. I'm sure DiNardo will put that out at some point. Coleman, this is Charlie Hayden and Ornette did a duet record for me at the First Artist House, and these are tapes of that. Ornette, this is all Ornette. These are all rehearsal tapes from Ornette's studio. I don't know what's on them. I never heard those. They're just there. Ornette at Town Hall, 1962. I don't think that's a common. Maybe I gave DiNardo the CDs of it, and I do have the half-inch tapes of that. More Ornette. Gil Evans, that's all Gil Evans. Sonny Fortune. Charlie Hayden. Lots of Desmond stuff. That's all Desmond. Up here, more Charlie Hayden. Roland Hanna did a record with him and George Mraz. These are all the tapes. There's so many tapes and takes that nobody's heard. If you like Roland Hanna and George Mraz, you're going to find some treasures in there. So a lot of David Liebman, a lot of Jim Hall. This is Thad and Mel stuff. More Thad and Mel. More Thad and Mel. More. This is Thad and Mel. Barney Kessel. That's just recorded by Don Thompson. Don Thompson recorded a lot of things in Toronto where he lived. So a lot of Barney, a lot of Rosalino, a lot of Jim, Paul. So he's got a lot of stuff. And Kami Lao, that's the record that never came out. And there's way more. I got way more multi-track tapes than that, probably another 10 up at the studio. Larry McRae. These are reissues I did with Wes Montgomery, Milton Nascimento. These are Art Pepper stuff and new stuff that I did, but most of that came out. Dewey Redman, Cecil Taylor, and Elvin Jones. A record I did in '98 that got to be quite highly thought of. Half of it didn't come out, so I have the other half. Nobody's ever heard that. I have our Sullivan stuff, Sun Ra, the Blood Records with Sun Ra. I have Cecil Taylor from some club dates that I did. I haven't heard 30 years.